Buhari urges Nigerian insurance firms to expand their operations. Open policy on AFCFTA needed, says Association of Nigerian Licensed Customs Agents. FIRS affirms position on VAT collection, urges taxpayers not to panic. Plus, Chinese stocks rise. Details of this and more on Business Express on the network service of the NTA. And we are reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar. Now let's begin with insurance. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged insurance firms in Nigeria to take advantage of the ongoing efforts by the federal government to grow the non-oil sector of the economy through innovation. The president stated this at the virtual opening ceremony of the 47th African Insurance Organization Conference and Annual General Meeting or Assembly, where he commended their role in encouraging medical practitioners to tackle the spread of COVID-19. He added that the insurance sector will play a vital role in the diversification of the economy by bringing in necessary stability, economic sustainability, revenue generation and job creation, as well as financial inclusion.
Much effort in ensuring that Nigeria diversifies its economy into all non-oil revenue sources, and insurance sector is one of such sectors that being encouraged to develop and bring us the necessary stability, economic sustainability, revenue generation, job creation, and financial inclusiveness. I assure you that this administration has and will continue to support insurance growth in Nigeria and Africa at large.
The federal government under the Full Security Council is providing a full insurance cover for farmers during this cropping season. The government takes the decision considering the huge losses farmers recorded as a result of flooding last year. It was discovered that most farmers have little or no knowledge on the government insurance policy in agriculture.
The business of insurance goes with documentations. When a farmer insures, you document the business and make sure that all the loose ends are tightened so that if there's any need at the end of the day for us to fulfill our responsibilities in terms of payment of claims, you have sufficient documents, sufficient records with which you can use to make the payments. So we issue the insurance policies, and we also work hand in hand with other departments in terms of inspection of the farms, making sure the farmers are well attended.
According to the Global Index Insurance Facility fact sheet, insurance providers in Africa and other developing regions rarely offer the hazard insurance familiar to industrialized countries. Earthquake, flood, and hurricane victims often lose their homes in an instant, recovering none of their investment on they are fortunate enough to be part of donor-funded disaster relief. Likewise, droughts, can wipe out the crops that farmers rely on for income. This is why Business Express for today is taking a look at the federal government's new policy on agri insurance for smallholder farmers. And to do justice to this is an insurance expert who is the Assistant General Manager and Head of Agricultural Services Department, Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation, Omar Ahmed Rufai. He joins us from our Lagos studio. You're welcome to Business Express.
Good morning, all. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay. Now, let's begin by you telling us about the agri insurance policy.
Yeah, the agri insurance policy started in 1987. The federal government of Nigeria established this specialized scheme to cater for farmers. Before the establishment of the scheme in 1987, farmers faces a lot of hazards, a lot of disasters in their farming activities. And whenever it occurs, they don't have anywhere to resort to. The whole investment is lost. The assistance provided by the government is not enough to take care of their losses. And again, the private insurance companies then were not willing to go into agri insurance because of the catastrophic nature of agri and also risk inherent in agricultural insurance. So the government doesn't have any option than to introduce the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Scheme. The Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation is shouldered with the responsibility of implementing and administering the scheme. The key and unique objective of the scheme is to ensure provision of appropriate support to farmers in the event of natural disasters, and also ensure a mechanism that will provide compensation to such farmers whenever they suffer losses to their agricultural investments. Other objectives are to induce the financial institutions and other banks to lend to farmers, because the insurance will serve as an added collateral. Again, it will lead to an increased agricultural production in the country, thereby ensuring food security. Also, the scheme will minimize or eliminate the need for government to provide adequate ad hoc assistance whenever there is an agricultural disaster. Later, it was expanded. We provide insurance cover to all agricultural activities across the agricultural value chain, right from production, processing, warehousing, value addition, and also transit risk from the farm to the warehouse, from the warehouse to the market. So you see, across the agricultural value chain, there are insurance policies that can take care of our farmers' risk. The scheme cater for all category of farmers, the small farmers, the medium and the large-scale corporate farmers. For example, a farmer that has a minimum of 1 acre can insure that farm. A livestock farmer that has 1 bull, 100 poultry, 1 sheep, 1 goat can also key into the program and insure his farming activities. Then again, why it is so unique, the federal government decided to subsidize the premium payable by farmers on food items, providing 50% subsidy to farmers. So what will happen here, farmer will pay 50%, and the federal government of Nigeria, in conjunction with the state government, will pay the remaining 50%. For example, 1 hectare of rice that can be insured for 200,000. What we charge.
Okay, why are farmers not aware of the policy?
You see, a lot is being done to ensure that farmers are well educated and sensitized. Majority of our farmers are in the rural areas, and most of them are not enlightened. So you see, getting across to them is tasking. But the corporation is doing a lot to ensure that these farmers are well sensitized. We are working with all the stakeholders, the State Ministry of Agri, the ADPs, the Extension Network, the Research Institute, and also with the support of the federal government of Nigeria. We work hand in hand to ensure these farmers are sensitized. The National Assembly is also partnering with us to ensure that farmers are sensitized. In fact, it is one of their constituency projects to ensure that we go out throughout the length and breadth of the country to sensitize farmers on why they need to insure their crops and lives, to in fact ensure all their agricultural activities. So you see, it's an ongoing process. And we have a lot of programs in the TV, the social media, the radio, to ensure that farmers are sensitized. We also liaise with the traditional institutions to get across to these farmers, the commodity associations, and all the stakeholders in agriculture. So we are doing a lot, and it's continuing. We are not relenting until we ensure all farmers key into the program.
That before now, government through Nigeria Agricultural Insurance Corporation has been paying subsidy for farmers. How has that been working?
As I earlier mentioned, the federal government provided a 50% subsidy. It's working. The federal government, on its own part, is fulfilling its obligation. Year in, year out, the subsidy is paid to us, while the state governments, we are working with them to ensure payment. Although in some cases there are delays in getting these payments, but all the same, whenever there are disasters, we go ahead and pay farmers without waiting for that subsidy. But the subsidy is coming. The only challenge is delay, and we are doing a lot to address such delays. I must say it that the federal government is giving us all the necessary support and cooperation through the Ministry of Agriculture to see that the scheme is ongoing and farmers are benefiting from the scheme.
Tell us, how can farmers table claims after losses?
Yeah, there are certain conditions for a farmer to make claim under the scheme. One, the farmer has to take an insurance policy with us for the agricultural activity he's engaged in. And again, by the time he experienced a loss, that loss must have occurred within the policy period. And again, the perils or the cause of the loss must be one of those perils covered under the scheme. And again, we need that farmer to make a formal report immediately, within 24 to 72 hours. You see, agriculture is time-bound. If there is a loss and the farmer didn't report, it took 1 month, 2 months. By the time we go there, the evidence of the loss may not be there, and investigation and assessment may be difficult. So we encourage farmers and we sensitize them to report losses immediately. And once we receive a notice of losses, we dispatch our field officers to the site. They go there, confirm, investigate, and also assess the loss in conjunction with the farmers. And the farmer is advised to make a documentation. A claim form is issued. Once that claim form is filled and all the necessary required claim documents are forwarded to us, we process and advise the farmer how much we are paying him. And as soon as he consented to that offer, we go ahead and pay compensation to that farmer. In essence, with adequate and timely notice and also quick documentation, we can be able to settle a claim within 1 week to maximum 4 weeks.
Okay, now, what advice do you have for farmers this year?
We are aware of the climatic changes happening everywhere, not only in Nigeria, all over the world. And the challenges of drought and flood are imminent in the country. So also pest and diseases outbreak. So what I advise farmers is to key into the scheme. Approach any of our branches. We have branch network all over the country. We have branches in all the state capitals and the FCT. We have 6 zonal offices supervising the branches in Ibadan, Delta, Owerri, Katsina, Minna, and Bauchi. And also we are accessible via internet and many others. Farmers can also approach any agricultural institution in the country, be it local government, state, or federal, and they will link them with us. Once we receive a call from the farmers, we dispatch our officers. We doesn't wait farmers to come to our office, no. If you call us or fill our proposal form online and send it, as soon as we receive your information, your desire to insure, we quickly send our officers down to wherever the farm is located. Once a pre-insurance inspection is carried out, we advise the farmer on what to pay, and insurance cover will commence. So what I advise farmers is to take advantage of this opportunity and approach NAIC so that they can insure their agri investments. And if there's any unforeseen circumstances or eventuality, NAIC will be there for them to plow them back to prosperity and bring them back where they were before the loss.
Thank you very much, Umar Ahmed, Assistant General Manager and Head of Agricultural Services Department, Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation. Now, let's now take a trip to the commodities market. Now, the latest data obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria have showed that the debt owed to Nigerian banks by oil and gas operators as well as power companies have risen above 6 trillion naira. The energy firms increased their bank debt to 6.14 trillion naira as of June 2021 from 5.94 trillion naira at the end of 2020. The 6.14 trillion naira represents 28.05% of the 21.89 trillion naira loans advanced to the private sector by the banks as of June 2021. According to the sectorial analysis of banks credit by the CBN, oil and gas firms which received the biggest share of the credit from the banks increased their debts by 140 billion naira to 5.32 trillion naira by June 2021 from 5.18 trillion naira in December 2020. The CBN data also showed that the debt owed by power firms to the banks rose to 823.28 billion naira in June 2021 from 763.22 billion naira in December 2020. Now, OPEC Secretary General Mohammed Sanusi Barkindo says OPEC has continuously been a promoter of both sustainable development and efforts to combat climate change, with a focus on the need to utilize all solutions to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to their impact and, at the same time, ensure energy access for all. He stated this at the Ministerial Roundtable on Energy, Climate and Sustainable Development video conference. Barkindo explained that as recipients of some of the worst impacts of climate change, there are no climate deniers at OPEC. The organization has a long history of supporting environmental issues and sustainable development, with the declaration of the third summit of heads of state and government of OPEC member countries in Saudi Arabia in 2007, recognizing not only stability of global energy markets, but energy for sustainable development and energy and the environment, putting OPEC well ahead of its time. The roundtable is expected to adopt a ministerial statement for COP26 and the UN high-level dialogue on energy. Now, in its continued commitment to bequeath lifelong skills to the youth and make them self-reliant, the federal government has trained more than 2,000 youth across the country through its Economic Sustainability Plan program. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Are young Nigerians whom for several weeks have been exposed to different digital skills through government's Economic Sustainable Plan program. The program is another strategy of the government through the Youth and Sports Ministry to deliver on digital entrepreneurship and leadership skills known as DEAL. And this is one of the priority of the present administration to lift 10 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years.
1,600 selected youths have been trained through the Digital Youth Nigeria program. 280 youths have had their capacity built in renewable energy and smart agriculture.
The ministry notes that it will monitor the progress of the beneficiaries periodically to provide guidance and ensure compliance in line with the objective of the program. Some beneficiaries of the program say they see it as a major means through which Nigeria can achieve national development goals.
I'm someone who is passionate about inclusion of persons with disabilities, and I'm happy that the ministry considered me being a part of this program.
I've been exposed to some apps that I was not able to use, and I've been able to design things that ordinarily I couldn't do on my own.
Experts, however, encouraged the participants drawn from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to support the nation in its quest to overcome socio-economic challenges brought about by COVID-19 pandemic.
Now in our Surviving COVID-19 series, a story of a textile dealer who, like other stakeholders in the industry, is riding out the storm and has positioned herself to bounce back stronger than pre-COVID-19. In this chat with Nneka Oko, she tells us of how the disruption of 2020 affected her business.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
My name is Aisha Muhammad Ndeji. I'm an entrepreneur. I sell fabrics, raw silk, ashoke, everything bridal, ashwebi and all. We're just one-stop place for everything occasion. I've been doing it for almost 4 years. During COVID, we couldn't sell because there were no weddings happening. You know, I deal mostly with weddings and occasions, so there was no weddings, it was limited to few numbers, so it really affected my business. So we're just trying to pick up little by little as the day goes by. I sold from home. I sold little things from home because I sell other little things at home, like homemade juices and all that, so I could sustain myself during that time, not that I was just waiting. And there are people who did their wedding, just them and their family indoors. So the bride would just buy fabric for only herself. Before they would buy like 15 fabric for mom, the sisters and the bride, but now it was limited to like only the bride because the wedding was just indoors. So we sold few times, and we had other businesses that were augmenting the space, so we were not just indoors doing nothing. The COVID loan. Yes, I did apply for it. They said the last time I followed up with it, I was told they were waiting for CBN to release funds for them. Then once CBN released funds, they're going to do the second batch of disbursement. So we're just waiting for CBN to disburse money to NASA, because it's NASA that they are doing the disbursement. So I asked from NASA, they said they are waiting for CBN to do disburse money to them, then they will disburse to us. So we're just hopeful that we benefit from it and it helps our business. I have just learned that we don't have control over anything. Anything could just happen. So you should just always have a plan B. In case anything happens to the business you have, you should always have something to fall back on.
Now, the global stock market, Chinese stocks rise as data shows China's exports beat expectations in August. Bosede Abel has an update.
Shares in Asia Pacific were mixed in Tuesday's trade as data showed that China's August trade data came in above expectations. The Shanghai Composite in mainland China rose 1.5%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gained 1.09%, and the Nikkei in Japan also topped 0.86%. European stocks are expected to open mixed on Tuesday, reflecting similar trade in their Asia-Pacific counterparts overnight. London's FTSE it's in opening 22 points lower at 7,187.18. Germany's DAX 18 points lower, while CAC 40 of France is pointing down by 1 point. U.S. stock futures opened slightly higher Monday night and are expected to sustain momentum at least in early trade Tuesday. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures rose by 82 points or 0.23%. S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 futures climbed 0.21% and 0.31%. African markets are yet to open fully, but are indicating a mixed start after having begun the week positive. Kenya expects key reforms to bring hope to its tea sector, while South Africa's consumer confidence has seen a slight increase despite previous riots and looting. Boss said they able. Business Express.
Well, that's it. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. I am Musa Abubakar saying keep thinking and doing business.